What is up? This is your LA in a minute, and there's a place in Los Angeles lore that doesn't appear on any maps, but is one of the most important and historic places in all of Los Angeles, Sonoratown. I'm here in front of the restaurant Sonoratown, which provides the catalyst to discuss this vibrant and historic place in Los Angeles history. Let's get into it. So beginning in 1948, when a ban on immigration from northern Mexico was lifted, thousands of Sonorans passed through Los Angeles every year on their way to gold country in Northern California. In 1851 alone, 8,000 Sonorans passed through Los Angeles, which at the time only had a population of 1,600 people. That same decade, many miners were stripped of their mining claims, so a lot of the Sonorans came back to Los Angeles to work on the vast cattle ranches, which supplied meat for the growing state of California. Now, one of the reasons a lot of the Sonorans and other Mexicans lingered in California is because the Anglo footprint was very light at the time. Again, very small population. Now, Anglo-Americans at the time used the term Sonoran and Mexican interchangeably, and it wasn't just Mexicans who lived in these areas. It was East Asians, South Americans, and even some Europeans in Sonoratown. So the area settled was north of the city's old plaza, where many Spanish-speaking Angelenos still occupied the aging adobes from the city's Spanish and Mexican periods. So where exactly was the geographic center of Sonoratown? Well, they say it was right here on Spring and Ord, and that's where many of the adobes and one-room structures were concentrated. So Sonoratown was poor, but it was vibrant, and residents preserved the remnants of the city's original Latin American culture. Amongst the growing white population of Los Angeles, however, the neighborhood gained a reputation as a rough part of town, and they scorned Sonoratown in the newspapers and otherwise. Ironically, when Helen Hunt Jackson published Ramona in 1884, Southern Californians started to reimagine the area as Sonoratown, and tourism started to take place, at least on the outskirts. That said, life in the area was tough, as the buildings usually consisted of 2 rooms with no plumbing and a common outhouse. Even though perception was improving, the reality wasn't. The area was destitute and isolated from the improvements happening in Los Angeles at the time. By the turn of the century, with railways and cars coming into play, the area all of a sudden became valuable real estate. Property values rose and the adobes gave way to warehouses and factories. So Sonoratown's residents found new homes as street railways opened up the land across the river for housing. People moved to East Los Angeles and later Belvedere and City Terrace. And eventually, the district north of the plaza, where Sonoratown was rechristened New Chinatown. By the 1930s, any remnants of Sonoratown had been completely erased from the city. So even though Sonoratown can't be found on any maps, its importance as Los Angeles' first barrio continues to live on. All right, LA, it's been a minute.